Okay, so we are live, and yes, I think there's a little bit of lag between where we are, Rasta, and what LinkedIn people can
Oh,
see.
okay.
So, yeah, I'll just wait for a while to people who want to tune in, and then I can get started. So, I
Sure.
hope everybody can hear us, uh, see us properly. And thanks, Asta, for coming on a live with me in such a short notice. Uh,
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for asking me.
Zabardasti, you have to come on a live with me. I didn't ask. I asked you to come with me.
No, no. It's really fun. This is the first time. I'm glad it's happening with you. So nice.
Thanks, thanks. I feel special. Cool. Can someone confirm if they can hear us and see us? Quite a lot of people have tuned in already, some 40 people. So it would be great if I can have something on the comments. Then I get started. So, yeah, I think people can hear us and see us. So, yeah, I think Asta doesn't need any introduction since she's sort of a sales queen in India. But I'll
That's
still give a little bit, little bit of background for her. She currently is the AE at Factors. She's joined us recently, but before that, she runs three sales communities. One is Sales 101 and Unfair
right.
Advantage, and the SaaS Bahu one, right?
Right.
SaaS Bahu or SaaS Bahu.
Yeah.
I'm only interested in the last one. So yeah, after the live, you're going to add me into your community.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Right.
So these are the three communities she runs, and she has been with Yellow AI and then Peak Flow, and now she's with me on a live. So
Correct.
thanks Anna, again for coming.
Thank you so much, Priyanka. Thank you.
Sure. So now we'll go to the meat of the session. After like I am done with my questions that I have for Asta, I'll take questions from the audience. Feel free to put it on the comments. I'll definitely take it towards the end of the session. Asta, what initially drew you to a career in sales, and how did you transition from your original chosen subject in graduation? How did you end up here? A little bit of a background.
Right. So back in graduation, I was studying integrated law, BALLB. So graduation plus law together. But during my third or fourth year, I started feeling that I wasn't really enjoying it, and I didn't really know what to do. So I just thought, let me, wrap this up and then see what we can do. So that's what I
Hmm.
did. I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I just, knew that I can't do this. So what do I find? Somebody recommended from my college that a walk-in interview is happening at Zomato's office in Gurgaon. I was in Delhi back then. So I just went. I had no idea what to do, how to present myself, but I did go. I saw a lot of people, took inspiration from some people, saw what they were talking about. Ended up giving about 4 rounds of discussion with them, and then they offered me a sales role. I started doing it, and I did it for 2 years with them. So that's how the journey started.
Okay,
Yeah,
got it. And then you also shifted to SaaS with Yellow, I think, or
with
um,
Skit.
okay, with Skate. Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
got it,
yeah.
got it. Yeah.
So from
So,
original source to to this kit or SaaS part, um, living in Delhi, the opportunities, at least in terms of startups and sales, was very limited. It started to
hmm,
open up now, but it was more of a Bangalore thing.
yeah.
And I knew that I wanted to move to somewhere. So I took an internal job placement from Zomato. They had this opportunity for employees to do that. I took
Hmm,
a job in Bangalore, gave some interviews here, cracked them, came to Bangalore with another
hmm,
team called Hyperpure. And that's how I
hmm,
could sort of at least be in the area where things were happening. I didn't know what things, I just knew some things are happening, so I have to be there. So I just came here and yeah, I just started to basically figure out a few companies that I might like to work. I didn't know a lot, but whatever I could know from the internet, I did that.
hmm.
Uh, didn't have the understanding of what is a tech, what is a tech stack, or how do you write emails, or what is the smartest way to do a LinkedIn DM, right? But I still did that
Yeah.
somehow, and it helped me land a job at Vernacular, now Skid.ai.
Hmm, hmm.
Yeah,
Got it.
I reached out to about 5 or 6 people. Three of them responded. I got an interview, then another, then I finally got in.
Right. Got
Yeah,
it. Yeah. So I'm sure you would have now had a lot of calls with Shri.
yeah,
So
yeah.
Shri says that sales is something that you can't study or learn in a classroom, right? It's a
That's
on the job networking, skilling,
correct.
failing 500 times to like learn one thing.
Right.
So that, yeah, that changes you as a professional as well. So could you share some of your key realizations or turning points in this sales journey that prompted you to prioritize learning, networking, skilling?
Yeah. Uh, so a lot of times, so when starting out with Zomato, and then moving to SaaS sales, it was very very different. What helped me, at least in the beginning, was just reading about what a product means.
Mm,
Figuring out a lot of companies that do usual, regular work as you do. I started taking help from my peers in the company because it was a fresh company. Everybody was young and new. So colleagues were really helpful. They gave me a bunch of previous work that they had done, so I could look into it. Learned how to write emails.
mm,
First of all, that was the first job. My first job was to write 5 email cadence with some LinkedIn touch points and cold call touch points in between. I had no idea how to do. Just asked a colleague to share what they had done. They shared it with me. I sort of replicated it, the entire cadence. When it came to writing, I just like would write original drafts and then start deleting things. Lavender did not
mm,
exist at the point, so we had to figure it out from here whether this email is too long or short. So that started to happen, did that, and then eventually you at least learn the basics of it, which
this was
is
back in
this was back in 2020.
okay, okay,
Yeah, yeah.
okay.
This was at Skit. Yeah, and then I think from there on, some things like talking to a customer bigger than you could ever imagine pushes you to read something. I would listen to previous calls and understand how they're how people are talking. Um, Sometimes market conditions, when they get worse,
Mm,
for example, unemployment continues for a long time, which was happening just a few weeks ago as well, starting to get
mm,
better now.
mm,
But yeah, things like, I think this makes you realize that there are a lot of people going through this, and the only thing that's going to help you is learn. So for learning, what you can do is, of course, the community that we have,
mm,
use that to basically see what people are doing. Keep yourself up to date. Even otherwise, even if you're not a part of the community, you can still do that just by being available on other professional platforms.
mm.
Um, yeah, so upskilling, learning, if you don't do that, I don't think it gets any better. I've seen people get stuck in the same roles for 7 years, 8 years. It just does not make sense. So
Right. You have to constantly up your game to go up the ladder, right? Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, internet makes it possible as well. So
Yes, yes. Internet has been a good equalizer in that sense. Nobody actually has a advantage of being in a certain place or in a certain company.
correct,
So
true,
yeah,
yeah.
it's quite educative as well. For educative posts, follow me.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Certain,
comments.
yeah. So yeah, now again coming back to your sort of experience, right? You've sold with smaller products as well to C-suite level executives. That's quite an impressive feat. Even though if you see, it's a short time if you see from 2020 to
True.
this way. Selling these products actually require a lot of nuanced approach and constant learning.
Yeah,
Apart from that, the field itself is quite competitive. So
yeah,
can you share some key tactics or techniques that actually helped you to crack the code here as a SDR?
yeah. Crack the code as an STR. I think the idea, the entire life of an STR revolves around if my emails were opened and if somebody on the other end says hello. Otherwise, that, other than that, there is no other, there's nothing else that we're thinking of, right? Um, the only advice is sort of to be very good with writing. I think that helps a lot, because a lot of people work in regions where calling does not help. And this is very ground level reality. I could tell you that, like watch videos, do that. Yes, of course, you have to do that. Talk to people. Yes, do that. But also learn how to write nice. If you
Hmm.
write nice, you get more help. Then, the I think good writing does not only help you land interviews or talk to people, but also just learn from others. Because when you come across as someone who's curious but knows how to, talk, people also want to help, right?
Right.
Yeah, and then of course there are few things, like for example, there are some courses that you could take. These courses are all the time being sold on LinkedIn, on
Hmm.
other platforms. There are a bunch of, if any of you wants to see who these people are, you can. I did a LinkedIn post about it that I'll share later in the comments of this live. You guys can take a look at that. Then there's a really fun channel. I think it's called Sales Edge. I'm not sure. They make really
Hmm.
good content. You could watch that.
Hmm.
Just make use of whatever is out there. Follow a bunch of people, read about it, and I think you are good to go, at least on the cracking part. Everything
Hmm.
else comes later. So yeah, to crack that, I think that's okay. Just writing a lot and talking to a people a lot.
Right, right. So before I move on to the next question, I just have an announcement to make since all you beautiful sales and marketing people are listening here to us. So we at Factors are coming up with a product update which we call email click ID. So sales and marketing folks, you uh, write a lot of emails like Asta said, and you constantly improve on it, but still see lower reply rates but high click throughs, right? So, email click ID in Factors reveals who clicked your email link and what they did on your website, allowing for personalized replies and targeted ad campaigns. So, with this, what you can do is craft hyper personalized emails, laser focus your email marketing if you are a demand gen person, respond to website actions instantly, and then, of course, retarget your ads also effectively, right? So from my side, we are doing beta testing from Factor's own product side. I have just put in a form on the comments. I'm just putting it up. Please do sign up if you want to be one of the first users of it, and your feedback will be amazing. So yeah, that's all from my side on this. Now I'll move on to the next question, Asta.
Yeah.
Um, uh, we'll go to how you transitioned from SDR to AE. But now I'll just I've seen a lot of posts from your side. You know that when you were starting out as a SDR and a bunch of your other friends, there was no one who really cared about Indian SaaS sellers.
That's true. That's
And
true.
it's true because I totally get it, and people are quite they're just going in the rubble trying to find the gold. but
Yeah.
it's quite tough actually, because how do I know this? Because I did sales initially when I was in practice, so that's how
Wow.
I made a lot of friends through sales. So
Right.
yeah, that was something that I felt.
Yeah.
However, when now that I see there are a bunch of communities, like you have communities, Harsh has communities, then there's Pratik, who has his own amazing, beautiful YouTube channel where I was a guest at.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very subtle promotion. Priyanka
Yeah.
can't help it because she's a marketer.
Yeah.
Uh, so all of these things have now propped up in a year or so in my purview.
Hmm.
What inspired you and motivated you to start these sales communities?
Right. So, I mean, as you know, we talked about earlier also, and you just mentioned again that there was nobody to care about, right? That is actually very true. That was very true. Thankfully, it has changed now. But the reason was that no, we didn't really have anybody to look up to. And when I say we, it's everybody, right? Everybody. But there was just three or four of us, or like in the beginning, like five or six of us, we just some people just met over a dosa, and then they discussed that how they just cannot communicate with each other on phone when they are away. Some of them were in Chennai, some were in Bangalore.
Hmm.
So the idea popped up that let's create a place for us to talk, right?
Hmm.
And then those people got just away, sort of, and the remaining ones was Harsh,
Hmm.
Sridhar from B2 Brain, and myself. And so we thought, okay, let's put this on Slack and let's do something about it. And we didn't expect it to resonate with so many people. And Yeah, I think people just started talking to each other, asking questions. People started getting answers. People started to meet because that's how it started, on a conversation on dosa, sorry. But Yeah, and then there was just a place of about like 15, 20 people who talked constantly about everything, right? They trusted
Hmm.
each other so much that they could rant about their offices, their managers, their bosses, everyone, right? And nobody cared. The information got out nowhere else, right? But we all had an insider information that where to go, where not to go. Okay, no, I'm not going to company A because I heard this happened with that person. This just kept getting expanded, and it's
Hmm.
still expanding. So yeah, now people have a place to worry about each other.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Got it. And apart from, how has this grown as a community which actually helps each other? Do you help in upskilling and all of that? Just curious, because I want to join.
Yeah, yeah, no, absolutely. So Sales 101 enables you in multiple ways. It will help you, of course, with upskilling, whether it's about you knowing what course to buy or what person to follow, or how do I write this particular email differently. From complex to basic, everything usually gets helped around. Then, of course, you have the job part where
Mm.
about on average, I think 5 job opportunities come every day, and these are all new,
Okay.
vetted ops, right? A lot of people have gotten opportunities through this. Some people are working in those respective companies. Other than that, you get to meet a lot of people, which brunches were always an unfair advantage thing that we used to do brunches, but then those
Mm.
brunches got bigger, bigger. We recently had about 105, turn up brunch in Bangalore. Yeah, it takes care of everything basically, from your mental health to your physical health to you getting in a
Brunch.
good place. Yeah, yeah, of
Yeah.
course, and getting ready and coming to the brunch. So yeah.
इतने तो मेरे लाइव भी नहीं देखने आते हैं, तुम्हारे इवेंट्स देखने आते हैं. But yeah, I'm happy. Like next time I
Really?
should also join.
Yeah, you should.
Yes, yes. So great. I think that's a way to run a community. I would say, like, that also shows that how invested you are as a professional in it. So
Yeah,
amazing.
absolutely. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's high time.
Yes, yes. So as someone who has transitioned from an SDR role to a AE role, right?
Yeah.
What advice would you give to aspiring SDRs looking to make a similar career move?
Right. Maybe talk about it in your companies. Ask your managers whether they would be willing to offer you something, maybe for 1 quarter, 2 quarters, see how you perform. And trust me, if you ask it without a hike or if you ask it without an actual title promotion, if you genuinely want to do it, just
Hmm.
ask it, just do it. If it works out very well, you get promoted officially, right? If your current company does not, and if you think you want to, if you can,
Hmm.
just try to be part of these conversations, these groups, and ask people for referrals if you can't go public. I think this is
Hmm.
the way to do it in terms of finding a job. In terms of learning, just talk to a lot of current AEs, ask them how they spend their entire days. What is it that
Hmm.
they do, for example, from starting to looking at the calendar to seeing who is joining, who is this person, what does this company do, to then knowing about that company, and then preparing a bunch of questions that you think might be relevant for this person. This is what we do usually. End the day with what recap emails, summary emails. Yeah, this is what usually happens. And to like more go, I mean, sorry, to go more in depth, you, I mean, have to talk to them. Yeah, so that will help.
Right. And in terms of skill, how does a SDR differ from an AE? I'm sure there's a big difference. SDR is mostly getting people to know you. AE is like you have to close deals, and it's a bigger, yeah, job role overall. So
Yeah.
yeah, some skills that you have acquired over time.
Right. Um, I think the patience, increases a lot because as an STR, we keep on jumping from, one phone call to another phone call, and we don't really care if the other one didn't really happen. We still have to make the next one. But here, every conversation that you do is important. So, uh, basically, in terms of skills, just have the skill of active learning. That is something that I am also working on currently. Because sometimes people tell you a lot, we just fail to listen, and then ask a follow-up question. I think that helps a lot. That helps a lot. Um, uh, Start being, I think, more number driven. That would also help because STRs usually we have about 10 to 15 numbers a month to worry about. But here, when revenue gets attached, numbers mean different things in number. I mean, in different sheets in different places. So I think
Hmm.
getting good with numbers, being logical, helps a lot.
Hmm.
Yeah, and yeah, just I think learning the basic work that they do every day. Would be okay. Yeah. Otherwise, we would need like a 1 hour discussion to just do that.
Right, right. And again, just out of my curiosity, right? How does a training of an SDR is different from a training of a AE?
Right. Training of an AE, basically, usually, I mean, you AE basically needs to talk to a lot of teams. STR doesn't need to do that. The onboarding process is very different. As an
Hmm.
STR, you learn a little bit about the product, about the website, understand where everything is, and you're good to go. For technical
Yeah.
questions, somebody else takes care of it, right? For any other questions that might be revenue related, price related, everything else goes to someone else. Here, it's very simple. Just learn the product and start talking about it. That's all.
Hmm.
When you become an AE, you have to learn the product, the actual usage of it, which an STR does not need to do. So you need to know
Hmm.
where to click. If I click this, what happens? So knowing that, then I think getting onboarded with CS team helps, which does not happen with STRs. You need to be, in touch with CS constantly. What's happening with customer success? They are a very important part. In what's gonna happen with my accounts. Of course, I think in startups, very strong touch with marketing helps a lot because both of you can target or target together.
Right.
Yeah, I think this is how AE's training differs, and of course you get to hear a lot of previous calls that have happened to see how people are pitching, learning how to do demos, what to say, what to ask. Of course, all of that, yeah, comes in.
Hmm. Hmm. Understood. Yeah. Uh, I think I majorly got what is the broader difference. Now, the thing is, I have been an SDR, I've never been an AE, right? But what
Yeah.
I've heard from people is that your questions are unlimited that you get from a prospect sometimes, right? And while on the call you might or might not be able to deal with it, how do you you know actually refer back and then come back to your prospect? Does it hurt prospects ability to convert and all of that? How do you deal with it, like since you have transitioned into the e role?
Um, I think a lot of questions are nice because sometimes people don't ask questions. So a lot of questions are definitely nice. That means they are involved in what's happening, right? So it's very important that they do that. There is no, I mean, people are not always questioning to make you look bad and in front of competition. They might be genuinely asking what's happening, right?
Hmm.
Sometimes when you know the answer, give the answer. Sometimes when you don't, it's totally okay to let them know that, hey, I'll get back to this later, I don't know, let me ask someone in my team, and I'll write you an email about it. If you give me your phone number, I'll call you about it, right? I hope that's okay. And usually people are okay. Nobody is making a decision tonight, right? That's totally fine.
Yeah.
In terms of objection handling, of course, that is, I think, art plus science that you have to learn. I'm also learning it right now. I'm not very good at it yet.
Hmm.
But yeah, I think these things basically would, you know, make it for you.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Understood. Yeah. Uh, so now coming to the title of the topic, how to fall in love in sales. I never did, but you
Absolutely.
did.
Yeah.
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 That's why I'm sitting here and not like on a sales deal trying to close an
Wow.
account.
I'm here.
But
I'm also here.
no, I think you've done that. I think you're doing that
Yeah.
an hour ago. So yeah, but so, since I'm not doing that, I'll just ask you, what advice would you give to aspiring sales professionals who are just starting out their journey? Sales itself, it's quite rewarding. I'm sure know about it much better, but it's
Yeah.
also really heartbreaking at sometimes, right? What would be the advice that you'd give?
Um, I'm not sure because I also cry a lot. So, um, I think it's okay when you start, treating things as things. I think it gets okay.
Yeah.
It's heartbreaking, but the problem with sales that is that heartbreak continues with you. If
Hmm.
you lose a client, you will be sad about it for a long time. But if you win
Yeah.
a client, you won't be very happy about that for a long time, right?
Yeah.
5 minutes people will celebrate and then everybody will go back to the next customer. So that's how uh, but I think it's keep your mental health strong.
Hmm.
Um, be very good at documentation. That's something I learned at my previous company. Being nice at documenting things, even for your personal use, for your professional use, it's fantastic. Helps you be on top of your KPIs, what's happening, what do you need to do more if you do that on a regular basis. That helps.
Hmm.
Every conversation, record everything that you've done there. Um, yeah, I think this. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, our comment section is wildly good, but
yeah,
it's
yeah.
yeah. Go on. Yeah.
No, yeah, I
So
think. Yeah.
yeah, I broke your flow. I know, but
No,
I had to highlight.
yeah, it just popped up so big on the screen. No, that's totally okay.
Yeah, no, I have like one last question for Asta. Then we'll start taking questions. If you guys have any questions other than wild comments, let us know. I'll put it up on the screen and Asta will answer it. So, looking ahead, right, what are your future aspirations apart from closing deals for factors, right? Professionally, how do you envision yourself? I'm asking this just because it'll be helpful for the audience to gauge
Right,
their own aspirations. Yeah.
right. I mean, from here, the idea is to, eventually be in a maybe managerial kind of a role. So I,
Hmm.
you know, can also learn a little bit more. Yeah, do that, and basically as soon as I'm done with, let's say, mid market sales. I'm ramped up to do that, right? I've been like earning a lot of money. Then I would like to move to enterprise sales, right? And I and Shri will do that together. So yeah, I think this is what the idea is, at least for the next 3 years. This is what I'd
Mm,
like to uh,
mm,
evolve into, and then continue doing that for a couple of years, and
yeah,
then yeah, we'll know what happens with time. A very
right.
short aspiration, just like 2 year, 3 yearly aspirations.
Yeah, yeah, quite practical. It's yeah, it's great. It's great.
Yeah.
So so we have one question from Pratham. It's quite a big question.
Yeah.
However, mostly what he's asking is that he is
I
currently
like
figuring out, yeah, what job role suits him the best, as he has had short stints as AE and then business development manager in the past, but he doesn't really like target based jobs. But he likes to talk to B2B clients. Quite a scenario. So, what might be a ideal role for someone who likes to have relations but not with targets, and suggest how to do the transition?
Wow. I think this would be a question for Priyanka. Why, I'll tell you, because if you do not like Pratham, if you do not like targets, you can't be in sales, right? You can't be an SDR, can't be an AE. Targets would always be revenue targets would always be there. I think if you still like talking to people, I think being community driven would help, which you're clearly doing. Marketing does not really involve talking to a lot of people, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could do customer success, but then customer success also at a lot of places has revenue
Hmm.
target attached. So maybe at a yeah, you could maybe do onboarding if you like that. Just being an onboarding CSM, the person who just onboards. These are on the top of my head jobs that I can think of.
Yeah, Misag has said customer success. So yeah, that's what it is. But customer success again is yeah, that, yeah, quite relationship building, that sort of a job. So yeah, that
Yeah.
makes sense. So now I'll just add my 2 cents to it. I don't think there is any job which does not have targets. If you are on the GTM sphere, so I might be like completely wrong here, but unless you are in general management roles in like bigger companies and HR roles and all of those things, I don't think there is anything which is completely not target based. So yeah, Astha, you gave Asha for the future. So yes, so I just think that if you have that drive to earn, big money and that sort of a career goal, then target based roles are something that work. In sales across industries, I think it's all target based, as far as I know. um, so that is something that you can see in marketing also. It's not totally uh, entirely no target based. Marketers also have their targets to meet. They have to show, if they've spent this much, what is the revenue that they have driven, what is the leads that has come from 500 other channels. So again, marketing is not a place which is different from it, but yeah, customer success is something that you
Yeah.
can expect. Yeah. So yeah. So Purna has asked, what do you think new age should focus on when they have transitioned from SDR? I think she just said it, but yeah,
Yeah.
you can.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Purna has been an AU. Why is she asking me this question? But yeah, I will answer it for other SDRs. When you've
yeah.
transitioned
I have
already.
tried. Yeah, I have tried to make the session more engaging.
Okay. I think for people who genuinely want to switch from STR to A,
Hmm.
areas of focus, I think, could be reading a lot, spending a lot of time on the product,
Hmm.
and knowing, what exists where. That helps a lot, because trust me, if you sell a product that, a lot of users together use, which is not an app that you build, or you just sell out, it's just SaaS sale that you're doing, you would need to be able to get acquainted with product, and that is very, very important. I know I've been saying that for a long time, but it is very important. And I think you should focus on, again, documenting because that will not just help you with what is happening, but you also have to reach out to these people back. So with what context do you do that? Oftentimes it gets misplaced, and you don't know what you talked about earlier. You forget, 6 months later you speak with this guy, or 2 months later you speak with her.
Hmm.
That would help a lot.
Hmm.
And I think knowing what are the common objections that people throw up, uh,
Hmm.
learn that from other AEs who are already selling. Knowing
Hmm.
about what are the common FAQs would be very helpful. You can visit the website blog that article that
Hmm.
your company might have written. Just see what are the common FAQs there, and yeah, being target driven week on week would help you a lot if you're on a monthly target situation. If it's quarterly, then yeah, I think still weekly was is still relevant. Yeah, you have to do it
Hmm.
daily though. And yeah. I think
Right.
these four things would be enough to at least get started, and you keep learning as you move ahead.
Right. Divesh has asked, how about marketing to sales? Do you want to move to marketing to sales? We'll discuss that on our growth call next week. Yeah. So I think Pratham has another question: how to join Sales 101?
Hey Pratham, I will DM you. You can also see the link to Sales 101 on my LinkedIn profile.
Yeah. Yes. Bhavani has another question. As SDR, when we get meeting through outbound call, how do we set agenda of the meeting? Yes, good question. Yeah.
When we get meeting through outbound call, how do we set agenda of the meeting? Okay, nice. So basically what you can do is when someone comes on the call, you thank them. You let them know that you appreciate that they are doing this today.
Mm.
um, then just set up an agenda saying that there are these three things that I want to establish. First thing is that about my company a little bit. I let you know what it does very briefly. Then if you think that this sounds interesting, maybe we'll talk a little bit about that. And before that, maybe you can tell me about who you are right now. Do you
Mm.
think this kind of a framework would work out okay? And the prospect will either say ki, oh, you know
Yeah.
what, I don't really have time. Nobody usually says this. When they're here, they will take out time. But how to keep them interesting or engaged? You ask them this, let them say that yes, this is okay. So they will stay alert.
Mm.
Once this has been set up, you basically brief, introduce yourself, brief about the company. Do not take more than 1 minute for this. Move on to them, ask them what do they do, then let them know that this is what we do it for 200 whatever companies. Do you think something like this could work out for you? And I know this is a very wide question, but if you have questions which are not very overwhelmingly heavy for your prospects, you can ask if you have some discovery questions which you think generally people would know.
Mm.
Yeah.
Right. Got it. Understood. Yes. We do. Okay. We have one more question. What are the current productivity slash sales tools that you're using for Clay, Lavender, Apollo? Factors.ai. Yes, that's what
We do
Asta.
use clay though. We are starting to, we're starting with clay. We are still setting up some things there. Now we do use Apollo. We use HubSpot CRM. Um, yeah, I think that is majorly what we use. LinkedIn Premium, Sales Nav. We're exploring a bunch of other tools as well, but this is what we use currently. Yeah, and then we
But
use Factors. Top.
yeah,
Yes.
Factors.ai trumps everything. So
Yes. Yes.
yes,
You guys should try it out and see how maybe you'll know what your active prospective buyers might be doing right now. So
exactly, exactly. So since you've joined a session where a marketer and a salesperson is, and that too from the same company, this
from
is
the
what
same
is
company,
going to happen.
we have to sell it.
Visag has a point. The sales is still in you.
True, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, marketers are just fancy salesperson.
You should
So
join my team, Priyanka.
sure, sure. We'll have that discussion on the next growth call. Yeah, I don't think we have any more questions. It was a great session.
Yes, yeah.
Thanks everyone who joined in, and thanks everybody who had who put in their amazing comments. and really made us smile. Apart from that, thanks Asta for joining and
Thank you
giving
so
so much
much.
engagement. Thanks for coming.
Oh, wow, of course. Thank you so much. Thanks, guys, for joining, and thanks, Priyanka, for hosting.
Thanks, guys. Have a great weekend. I'll just end the stream.
Yes, absolutely.